Narcissism is prevalent in our society, and at times it can be easy to spot. But what of those people who are quietly more covert? These can infiltrate our lives without us even being aware of what we've gotten ourselves into. Hi, I'm Sophia from Wellbeing, and I help people that have been in abusive relationships. Since I work in a multidisciplinary fashion, healing tends to be quicker. But today I want to talk about how the covert narcissist may have become part of your life without you even being aware of how insidiously that's affected who you are now, and then to show you 4 ways to identify them. And I'll also list 5 strategies they may use on you. If you like what I have to say, please press the subscribe button, like and share, as in this community we're all trying to help and heal and hopefully help each other. Narcissism overall possesses very similar traits, but whereas the overt may have grandiose actions, for example, they might buy expensive things or focus on their looks and how they appear in public, they may spend big talk, be blatantly selfish. If they're of the somatic type, you might see their body on display, whereas the more cerebral type may try to bamboozle you with logic, fact, and their achievements. These types can be very charismatic and seem like the life of the party, and often have a whole bunch of people that support their ideas and decisions. They're like the flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz, doing the narc's bidding and seemingly loyal followers. What we see with these types of people is that they can appear generous. It is only if you disagree, put in boundaries, and that they balk at how they treat you, that you'll see things ramp up on the nastiness side. These are the types of personality that say it's my way or the highway. They may use overt name-calling, violence, financial and verbal manipulation. However, it'll be of the more overt type. You'll recognize these types of personalities earlier, and you'll be able to make decisions about how much involvement you want to have with them. The covert narcissist is much harder to spot. They're often called the vulnerable or shy narcissist and are more atypical. They appear kind to those around them, helpful, or they may just keep to themselves, avoiding parties and family functions. People may just think of them as not social or more introverted, and as such not really pay attention to or notice any of the strategies that they're using for manipulation. By knowing how this can appear in those around us, so that we can then be aware of these tactics. The covert narcissist can have a very low self-concept. They can feel that they are the victim, that they suffer more than other people. This makes them unique because they're always the most hurt in the room. These personalities look at feedback as criticism, so moving forward and getting treatment can be nearly impossible. They can think that others are so much better off or more conceited than them. They have a profound dislike for others that are successful. And if they know people that are also narcissistic, you will hear their venomous nature shine through. These personalities are unable to relate to those around them in any meaningful way. Those that are more advanced may have some cognitive understanding, but they'll not really have the insight into how you feel, and therefore they'll not be able to be supportive to the needs of those around them. All narcissists, overt or covert, are on a spectrum, with some displaying more of the harmful tactics and others less, and some will possess a bit of both. This can therefore be really confusing to be around, to the extent that you even second guess yourself. For example, on the one hand, they're generous and like to present well, yet they may also seem to feel victimized and use passive-aggressive behaviors. I now want to help you by giving you 5 tactics that the covert narcissist might use on you. Both types could potentially use these tactics. However, in the covert, the way can be harder to spot, and it can cause you to doubt yourself more and to create more of a cognitive dissonance. One of the things you might experience is gaslighting. Now, I've mentioned this in a previous vlog, and we'll link that below. I listed many other traits that are helpful in identifying a narcissist as well in previous vlogs, but the covert way of manipulating is through a very subtle way, and to the extent that you can literally be left questioning yourself. They're so convincing that this form of gaslighting, this form of lying, that it actually denies your reality, and it causes you to think it's you being unreasonable. you're wrong, or sometimes you're maybe just going crazy. For example, if you say, why didn't you do such a thing, and you promised you would, they may totally deny that they even said it. I've worked with people that have had partners having affairs, contact with exes, and even though there are text messages, calls, or credit card pass, they'll actually literally deny it, and it'll be so convincing that they'll turn it around and make it sound like the partner is jealous, oversensitive, overreacting, and before they know it, this person thinks that they've made it up or imagined the situation and that they're in the wrong. In the covert case, they can even appear so injured that you doubted them in the first place. This brings us on to the second point, that they are constantly feeling victimized and fulfilling that role brilliantly. They take offense at seemingly meaningless things, but they do so in such a way that you're left feeling guilty for even mentioning it, whatever it was that bothered you. Their self-importance makes their perceived injuries so much worse, and they will let you know it. The third trait you may notice is a passive-aggressive behaviour. Those that feel like the victim may use the silent treatment to punish you. If you question on it, they may gaslight you and say you're imagining it. This is when you really need to hold on to your beliefs. Sometimes it's so crazy making that you think you need to tape the conversation. The silent treatment is as abusive as any other form. It's isolating you, it's creating feelings of confusion, loneliness, and ultimately pain. In further medical reviewed papers, it's been noted that these personalities also blame and shame. The overt narc will be more obvious in their attempt to gain leverage, like putting you down, being rude, criticizing, and using sarcasm. However, the introverted narc or narcissist may have a more gentle approach. They can artfully explain why something is your fault and how they're not to blame. Their goal is to make you feel small and regretful. A fifth way that the covert narcissist can manipulate you and cause harm is through the use of procrastination and disregard. You can be left waiting while they again run late. They text or call at the last minute. Perhaps they'll put off doing tasks that need to be done, sometimes indefinitely, or until you get so annoyed then they can dutifully become the victim again, and you're left wondering why you even bother complaining about the bins not going out or some other meaningless thing, and was it worth the fuss from you in the first place? So you begin second guessing yourself and your frustrations. Now these are just 5 traits that can be displayed. There are more of these. Some are more subtle, some are less, but they create confusion and they're highly effective in causing you to doubt yourself. And this is where the covert narcissist is different. So how do we identify a covert abuser if they're so subtle? I tell my clients to look for 4 basic things that the narcissist will display and to allow time for them to be revealed. Many people want that fairy tale relationship. They want to see each other, fall in love instantly, and live happily ever after. This, however, is not how we learn about our partner. It takes time to see, hear, and know all the many characteristics of the other person. One of the main things to look for is empathy. Does your partner have real empathy? They may display cognitive awareness that can appear similar, which is why it's important to look for the cluster of characteristics. Look for how they respond when you're in an emotional crisis. Are they available, helpful, considerate, understanding? And another thing to look for is, are they remorseful when they make a mistake or forget something or hurt your feelings? Or do you get blamed, the silent treatment, when you explain how they hurt you? Instead of having empathy, perhaps they offer a glib "I'm sorry," but then you're expected to show forgiveness, move on, and just get instantly over it. The third thing I recommend to look for is accountability. How much do they admit to being imperfect, at fault, or having a part in the demise of the relationship or the issues that are occurring? Or are you expected just to forget what they did, take the full blame, and pretend it just never happened? The fourth and final point on the checklist today is, do they display entitlement? Are their priorities more important than yours? Is their time more valuable? Work more important? Feelings more significant? These checks over time will help you weed out the covert narcissist and give you the space to evaluate your choices and how tolerable these traits are to you. I hope these tips help you to recognize when someone is treating you or someone you care about badly, and how you can avoid repeating these types of relationships. If you like what I have to say, please like and subscribe and share, as you never know who needs your help or who needs to hear this today. Until next time, I'm sending you much love.